This conference will now be recorded.
All right, today is Tuesday, January 15, halfway through the month. And as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so let's take a look at what we got going on this morning. Yes, well, I mean, I'm pretty much about 95% voice-wise, so should make today a lot easier. But a few announcements before we even get started. Remember, today we have our round of classes. We are finishing the second half of our level 2. So they will begin at 10 a.m. and then our second class at 3 p.m. All Eastern time. And then remember this afternoon, Traders Exchange. Make sure we send our questions and topics to te@atc.trade. As of right now, obviously, I don't think I have any. And during class weeks, as you guys know, I do not have a topic, so make sure that we get those sent in at some point before we get, obviously we get started at 12:30. All right, let's take a look. First thing we got on our list is PCG. So we were talking about yesterday how, it still had all that selling coming back at that 9 level. We were expecting a pull-up. We ended up getting our pull-up towards that 950 level, and it's just been coming down ever since. Now, one thing that we can see, too, is that we do have some new selling that came in around right above that 7 level and at that 7 level. I really would have liked to see a bit more than that, because if we look, there's actually a lot more covering around that 7 than there is that new buying. Not that it really matters as much, because of the fact that at the end of the day, if we have new selling that's coming and we know people are going to cover, that new selling is the most important aspect, and we definitely do have a decent amount at 7. I'm just going to be expecting to see more. I really want to see more, especially for really being able to move back down. More. Did I say it backwards? Yes, more covering than new selling coming in. So if we look, we have more. Coming in at that 7 level, we have some decent new selling, but there's definitely more covering at that level. All right, moving over to the next one, JPM. So JPM, it's almost like an everyday stock. I mean, it moves $2.51. I know Protest was putting in there, they're missing profit expectations, and overall, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's got a real nice range, in comparison to what we usually see at trade. But coming in, you can see right above and at that 98, there is a lot of what we're seeing in the bigger prints this morning was new selling that was coming and was selling that was pushing this thing down. So certainly something to keep in mind. We do have selling at that 98 level. Looks like we already kind of made that pull up, and then now we're heading down a little bit. So really what it comes down to is it's just going to need a little bit more new selling coming in. JPM, the orders are very thin. So even though it doesn't look like a ton, there actually is a lot right above this 98 level coming in at 98. And then, other than that, like I said, a little bit of covering, but mostly new selling coming into there as well. Next one, AMD. So AMD has a lot of buying that's coming into it this morning. And I know someone had asked me yesterday if I do trade it, and my answer is not really, but it's definitely got a little bit more movement. It's got a lot more going on with it than it usually does into the pre-market. Usually it's got a decent volume. It's just this morning we're talking about already 1.3 million shares coming in. We have a beautiful print line at 2035 for 117,000 shares. You can see it's held it almost all at every single. All morning it's held on to that and really respected that print line. So it's going to be an interesting spot and certainly a strong level for us to be watching. But if we come back down, you can see beautiful selling over that 2060. So we beautiful new selling. Jesus, I want dyslexia this morning. Beautiful new buying over that 260 level, or at that 260 level, excuse me. And coming back up, there's just been some really, really nice buying bursts coming in. You can see 2050 right here. So really after that pull down, we're really just going to be looking for a trigger back towards that upside. Remember, 20 is a big psychological level, especially holding above it. Next one we have is CGC. So CGC, unfortunately, I missed that yesterday afternoon, but it looks like we had a really great day. Made some nice pushes coming in, $6.70 in its overall range. Now this morning, if we take a look at 43, we can see that we definitely do have some new buying that came into there. Biggest problem, though, is that at 44, you could see that we did have, a nice selling burst. So it's a little bit mixed within its story of looking to go up, basically going down, and then looking like covering coming in at that 43. It's up a whole bunch. So if we see, that new selling start to come in around that 43, I'm going to assume this being covering, and I'm going to be looking towards that downside. It really just is going to be a matter of that new selling, because we already do have it at 44, which we could see already jumped back up. But This right here, this coming in at 43 on the ask side of things. I'm still going to be expecting a pull down from it, and my expectations based off the amount of selling at 44 are not very high. What do you look for in a stock that gets hit like that overnight? Still looking to see if it holds at open or sells off or what? Just looking for new prints. That's it. If it gets hit overnight, if I know basically, like, we'll use PCG as an example. So PCG, okay, we know that it's right now, okay, is our market maker short or are they long on it based off the amount of movement and the movement that we saw make going to the downside? Okay, we know that they're going to be short, right? So if I see buying coming in, I know someone's taking profit, all right, for the most part. So all I care about is new selling. Okay, I know people are going to take profit. So new selling is going to be what I'm going to be looking for to really get it going to anywhere. Few things. Actually, no, we still have one more. Okay, KTOV on our regular list. All right, coming back up, and it had, it did not print at 150, which was a really good sign. It had some nice buying that came back over. Okay, here we go. All right, so you can see it kind of skipped over 150 right here, and we got new buying immediately in after 154, 160. So we definitely have that new buying right here. It kind of pushed up. Remember, 20 cents on a $1.50 stock is a lot of, is a big percentage of it, but it's up 56% today, already a million shares. Just going to need that new buying. Remember the variables that we talk about on in Traders Exchange about what we look for in these cheaper stocks once they come into the morning, but it certainly has the variables to be able to continue up. And then we have MBOT. Right now, I don't really like that sell-off that we saw coming into 8 o'clock in the morning. That's usually not a very good sign, but I am going to keep it on our side list based off the huge range that we see going on right now. And the little bit of buying that we did have come in at that 10 really hasn't printed much since it's been just kind of hanging around that 10 level. So really just going to be looking for new prints to kind of see how it opens. That's why it's going to be on the side list. What about M? Let's take a look. M, remember, is not a fast-moving stock at all. There's nothing going on in there. Okay, overall, it still looks like it needs to go down as a company. I still think it needs to go down, and you can see this daily. I'm certainly giving a bearish look, but not much going on there. CGC is already on our list. We already went over that one as well. Anything else out there that I missed? TLRY is another one that you might want to keep an eye on, because if you look, okay, gold prints are always I'm always going to give the same answer. It's always going to be, I completely ignore them. Okay, if there's a lot of them, I use it as a level. Okay, TLRY is another one that you might want to take a look at. I don't like it. It's a little bit mixed going into this 95 level. You could say it started off with selling, but they kind of followed up with a little bit more buying. So certainly going to have a big range, something to look at, and the volume's going to be pretty decent coming back into it. NBEV. It has literally nothing to do with our story. That's something that you got to take classes, because that's something that we go over. Those yellow prints do not mean anything besides a level. It doesn't muddle anything. Okay, there's ways to use the yellow prints based off what you have around, but that's a class within itself. Okay, so NBEV, yeah, it's got some decent movement. I don't like this selling that came in, to be honest with you. It looks like somebody's going to be riding this down and coming back in, but it's going to follow the same exact principle as all the cheaper stocks. We look for the same thing with them. I'm just not a big fan of how much selling we see coming in at that 750. Apple, that sort of said. Facebook got more buying at 45. It did yesterday when I was here, so it jumped back up. It's basically just a rider. We're still looking. It doesn't. The overall story hasn't changed. 142 and 132, the big spots where we have some real big prints that are there. MU, I have no idea, to be honest with you. This morning it's doing absolutely nothing. Yesterday it was absolute garbage. It moved 66 cents, so I did not watch it yesterday and not have no idea what's going on with it right this second. So if any new prints come in, I'll look to trade it, but there's nothing going on in it whatsoever. All right, guys, so that seems to be it. That's what we got going on out there. Remember, I will be sending the link out for your classes in about 5 minutes or so, and we have some good stuff to look at this morning. So looking forward to the first half hour, and then I'll see everyone else at 10 a.m. Happy trading.